certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather has shared his thoughts on the highly anticipated showdown between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis. According to Mayweather, Davis is taking full control of his career and making his own decisions, even if that means taking risks. Floyd explained that while he has offered advice in the past, it's ultimately up to Tank to decide his own path. He admitted that the matchup is bold but exciting for the sport, saying the money involved is massive and that he'll definitely be watching the fight unfold.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your up, not mine.
The boxing community is ablaze with debate as the Davis vs. Paul fight draws near. Fans and analysts are split. Some see it as a publicity stunt, while others view it as a smart business move that could help Tank expand his brand beyond boxing purists. The divide has prompted heated conversations among insiders, some defending Davis's right to make the fight, others lamenting that boxing is drifting too far into entertainment. It's a classic clash between tradition and modern marketing, and everyone seems to have an opinion.
And number 3, to retire.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. Would you say number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean, that's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about him. But it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett has voiced frustration over the criticism aimed at Gervonta Davis. He argued that fighters today face judgment for every choice they make, often from people who don't understand the pressures behind those decisions. Hackett said that if Davis wants to face Jake Paul, that should be respected. After all, nobody outside the ring truly knows what motivates a fighter. He emphasized that social media has turned boxing criticism into constant noise, where fans try to dictate matchups rather than appreciate the discipline it takes to stay elite.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate, all right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You're like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get.
Sports analyst Max Kellerman has found himself under fire for what many consider biased commentary toward fighters like Gervonta Davis. Kellerman recently downplayed Davis's accomplishments, claiming he hasn't done anything extraordinary in his division. His remarks sparked backlash from boxing insiders who argued that Tank's record and knockout power speak for themselves. Critics say Kellerman's perspective reflects a broader problem: media bias that often underappreciates young champions while glorifying media-friendly narratives. The controversy underscores how perception continues to shape a fighter's legacy as much as their actual performance.
Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you, is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous, because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135, and there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous, because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's done.
Former champion Paulie Malignaggi didn't hold back either, calling the Davis-Paul fight a circus act. He believes boxing is losing authenticity by allowing mismatched spectacles to dominate the spotlight. Malignaggi argued that true knockouts only matter when they happen between evenly matched opponents. During a discussion with Chris Algieri, he warned that events like this confuse casual fans and undermine the sport's credibility. His blunt take reflects the frustration of many purists who fear that boxing is becoming more about entertainment than excellence.
Dude, knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can't. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately cannot get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist, if he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way that when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was to a degree manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time he fought.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this.
With the expense of
he would say the guys that were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when are you going to fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost anyone. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
In contrast, commentator Showbiz the Adult offered a more positive outlook after watching the Davis-Paul press conference. Initially skeptical of Tank's size disadvantage, Showbiz said his doubts vanished once he saw Davis's composure and confidence. He praised Tank's professionalism, focus, and mental calm, suggesting that Davis's superior technique and ring IQ could neutralize Jake's size and power. According to Showbiz, fans might be surprised by how easily Tank adapts, proving that skill and intelligence can outweigh physical advantages.
I'll be the hell out of this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. Yo, I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. No, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response to your take.
Floyd Mayweather's name is once again in the headlines, this time for reportedly pursuing a fight with Mike Tyson. Many analysts see this move as classic Mayweather, eager to remind the world that he's still the biggest attraction in boxing. With all eyes currently on Davis and Paul, Floyd's rumored comeback highlights his relentless desire to stay relevant and dominant. Observers note that this is part of a larger theme in boxing, the ongoing battle among legends to maintain their influence in a sport constantly shifting toward spectacle.
Celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers urged fans not to underestimate Davis just because of Jake Paul's size advantage. Chambers reminded everyone that boxing history is filled with smaller fighters defeating bigger ones through superior skill. He praised Davis's speed, discipline, and strategy, saying those attributes would give him the edge. Chambers also noted that while Jake has improved, he lacks the experience to handle someone of Davis's caliber. Behind the flashy promotion, insiders insist Tank is training harder than ever, taking this fight seriously as both a career-defining challenge and a massive crossover opportunity.
Press conference, and you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure, because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games, don't hit him in the back of the head, don't rabbit punch him, don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, you know, when you see a car crash. Like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley echoed similar confidence, calling the fight easy money for Gervonta Davis. He pointed out that Davis's experience against elite opponents makes Jake Paul's challenge look amateur by comparison. Bradley warned, however, that Tank shouldn't underestimate his opponent. Discipline will be key. He believes Davis's timing, defense, and precision will expose Jake within a few rounds. To Bradley, this fight represents more than just a clash of styles. It symbolizes the changing face of boxing, where fame and fighting are now intertwined like never before.
Contract, yeah. You prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many holes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, it's gonna be taking candy from a baby. You know, Jake is missing the rules. See, this is what happens when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition, and now he think he the ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no, yeah, false sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size.
The upcoming event perfectly captures boxing's evolution. For purists, it's unsettling. For promoters, it's brilliant. Regardless of opinion, the Davis-Paul fight has achieved what boxing rarely does anymore: global attention. Fighters like Davis are learning to navigate the balance between authenticity and showmanship. Whether fans see it as a legitimate contest or a marketing spectacle, one thing is certain: boxing is not dying, it's transforming.
Right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please, man, don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot, man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro, so that way you don't be shoot blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. The circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, one minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
That wraps up today's coverage. Stay tuned for more updates as the countdown to Gervonta Davis vs. Jake Paul continues, a matchup that's redefining the boundaries of modern boxing.